Hi everyone, I'm Nick French from Chuckle and Chirp Toastmasters Club here in Somerset West. I am the current Vice President Education and by definition also a base camp manager. Now one of the things I've realized as a VPE and base camp manager is that there's a lot of little tips and tricks that you need to know to fulfill your duties properly as a base camp manager. And over time I've come to discover these and worked out a very simple system how you can best manage your role as a base camp manager. So I'm going to be sharing my screen with you and take you through some slides and screen captures to show you how you can best manage your job and understand some of the hidden tips and tricks that are not always so obvious in operating as a base camp manager. So I'm going to be sharing my screen with you. You're welcome to request a copy of this PowerPoint presentation after the webinar. Just send me an email to nrf5621@gmail.com and I'll be happy to send it to you. So here we go. I'm going to share my screen with you now. So welcome to Base Camp Manager 101. Now, if you happen to be a president, vice president education, or secretary, this presentation is for you because each and every one of you qualified to be a base camp manager and should be able to perform certain minimum duties to be able to do your job properly and monitor member progress in the right way. Now, what usually happens is this role falls to Vice President Education as the primary port of call, which is probably correct. But then what happens if the VPE isn't available? Who else can step in and fulfill these duties? And what kind of continuity of knowledge is there going to be in the club if it just rests with the Vice President of Education? So this presentation is for any one of you who happens to fulfill this particular role. So the primary duties of a VPE are these that I've listed here, amongst others. Obviously to arrange and schedule monthly meetings, assign mentors to new members, track member progress, and approve member level completion in both Pathways and Leadership Central, and monitor education goal progress towards your club's DCP. So what I'm going to be sharing with you today is these last four very important items where not everyone seems to know how to do this and what they should be doing. So hopefully Base Camp Manager 101 will address these particular shortcomings. Now the first challenge as a VPE that I have discovered is that you need to keep track of what your members are doing as they complete their Pathways projects, because often they don't complete their assignments in Pathways properly, and that means that your records aren't updated. You don't know what's going on. You don't know to find out where they actually are, even though they've completed their project. So it's a lot like trying to herd a lot of sheep, or maybe a lot of mountain climbers progressing up a mountain not knowing where they really are. So you want to try and overcome this particular concern. So I'm going to show you how to do this. What we do is we log into our Toastmasters International website. We go to Base Camp and then log in as Base Camp Manager, which again is President or Secretary or VPE you should be able to do. So you can see that I am Base Camp Manager for Chuckle and Chirp Toastmasters Club. Once I'm in, I'm going to go to Member Progress and click on that. And then you'll see eventually this screen will come up showing a lot of bar charts. From time to time, you may need to go to Options and click on Refresh in the drop-down menu to update these bar charts. I haven't found these particularly useful because they don't identify individual member progress. And it took me a while to discover that the way you can do this in detail is to go to this little icon here and click on that. And this brings you this kind of screen with another little drop-down menu here that says View Team. So you want to click on that. And what that does is it brings down all your members here, and you can click on each of these and access their individual records. Now, this is an extremely valuable function that every VPE, or for that matter, any Base Camp manager should know about. So I'm just going to click on my record. You see I've even put my picture there in my profile. And I'm going to go from my Base Camp profile and click on Transcript, which is my education transcript. And here it is, and you can see that I'm doing effective coaching. And if I open my curriculum, you can see that I have progressed to level 4 here, and that I am 80% of the way through my very first path in Toastmasters. And then if I go to my e-portfolio, you can see that it has basically some folders for containing various documents like my evaluations, and also badges. Now, badges are awarded for when you complete levels, or also for when members want to recognize other achievements of their fellow members. So if I click on badges, you can see that my level 1 to level 4 has been registered as achieved, and that I have activated my level 5 effective coaching. So I'm in my last stages of my path. If I want to go back to my team, I can just click on view team here again, or here, going back from my own record. And I've gone back and selected another member's record where it shows they've only completed 25% of level 1. But actually, I know they've completed 3 speeches, not just the one, not just their icebreaker. So those haven't been signed off by the member. They haven't gone back and completed their assignment. Now, I have found this to be a very common problem, and that not everyone knows how to complete their assignments. A lot of training is required. But more importantly, you as the Basecamp manager should be able to pick this up through this method and go back to the member and tell them to complete their assignment, because you can't do this for them. So this is a very valuable technique and route of finding out what your members are up to. Now, the thing is that once somebody's completed a level 1, they need to apply to Toastmasters International through their pathways for their level 1 certificate. When that happens, a Basecamp manager, particularly a VPE, gets an email from Toastmasters International asking you to verify that. This can take a couple of days. It's not instantaneous. Once you get that email, you must click on the link that confirms the completion of that level, and then and only then will a member receive their level 1 certificate and obviously get their badge in their Pathways record. But the thing is that Pathways and Leadership Central aren't always updated, because you see, once a member completes a level, it can go towards a credit in your DCP. But this doesn't automatically get pulled through. There doesn't seem to be a direct connect all the time between Pathways and your DCP record, which is accessed through Leadership Central. So once a member achieves their level 1 award, you have to go into Leadership Central, click on Club Central, and then go to Submit Education Awards for your members who've completed levels. And once you click on Submit Education Awards, you can select a member, and again, a drop-down menu will appear. And I have selected Johan van Wyk as an example. You'll see that he has completed level 1 already, because he is in Innovative Planning level 1. He's got this designation here, but I'm going to select an education program to recognize him. And you can see that I can put through a request for Online Innovative Planning level 2 in English. So I will click on that, and it will update his record. You must click on this button here, Review Award Submission, to make sure that it's gone through. Then what you need to do is to just check in the club roster that his details have been updated. So for instance here, if I've clicked on IP2, he hasn't actually completed it yet, but if he has, then this would be updated to IP2. I've just grayed out all the other information there regarding other members and addresses, because it is sensitive. Then what you can do is go to your Distinguished Performance Report and see if that particular education award has been logged, and it would appear in one of these columns here to date, depending on what Pathways level they've reached. So you can see here in my club, I've had 4 members reach level 1, which gives us 1 DCP goal. Now, the trick is to know that this is not instantaneous. It's not updated immediately after you submit your education award. You have to wait for a certain period of time, because they have what are called month-end closing dates, which you can access in Leadership Central by clicking here. And if you do that, you can see that for 2019, for instance, in February, at the time that I'm compiling this presentation, the close-off date is February the 28th, but actually the results will only be shown in DCP after March the 8th. So there's about a week's lag time, and you need to wait for that. And by the way, at the end of June, which is the end of the Toastmasters year, that lag time is much longer because everyone's submitting a lot of awards at the last minute that need to be updated. So there's a bit of a queue here that means that it takes longer for it to come through. So there's the particular dates that you need to be mindful of. Now, something you need to do is to also keep a manual system, a separate manual system of who has spoken when. Because again, if your members are not updating their projects, you may not have a record of when they last spoke and to go back and check on them. So I keep this particular record here in an Excel spreadsheet, and just for a laugh, I've got the International Cricket Club here as a Toastmasters group with a whole lot of famous cricketers who want to improve their Toastmasters skills. So I've compiled this table which shows all the speech projects going through from level 1, level 3 and beyond, and I put in the date that they've completed that particular project. And when they complete a level, I highlight that bar in yellow. So you can see Dale Steyn has been very successful here. The letters in red denote who the mentor is, because you may need to get back to that individual and get him to contact his mentor, get his mentor to contact him to do their particular speech. So again, I'm happy to send you a copy of this spreadsheet if you like, for you to implement and use. But this is a very useful way of checking your manual record with what the member has done in their own Pathways record keeping. So there you have it. That's me, your Sherpa, to guide you through all these massive concepts and ideas of Toastmasters Pathways journeys. Actually, behind it all, you only need to know a few things to really do your job effectively, and that's what I've just shown you. If you've got any questions, please feel very free to contact me at nrf5621@gmail.com.